Morning, Anne-Marie, spiritual life coach here and owner of the Soul Awakening Academy. So obviously I didn't go out last night, so loads of you are probably in bed. I hope you had a great Saturday night. It's Sunday morning now and I'm fresh as a daisy. So I've decided to do a video about, and it was something I've been wanting to talk about over the last few days. It's been like burning in me to talk about it. And it's probably because it's one of the things that I'm just slowly starting to overcome now. And that is a fear of being seen as a light worker, a healer, a coach, whatever you do. And I work with people all the time who have this fear and this block about being open about what they truly believe in. So one of the things that we do on the Soul Awakening method, it's about soul alignment is the first process. We align through the first 3 physical chakras. And what that's seeking to help you with is to align you, hi Leah, is to align you to your true authentic self. So the true authentic self is the one that's the kind of nagging little voice that says to you, okay, this isn't my truth, that this is my truth. Then the ego comes in and says, but you can't speak your truth because of X, Y, Z. And it's only ever going to come down to fear of judgment, humiliation, criticism. If we dig underneath those surface emotions, if you like, it's a tribal fear, and it's a fear of being rejected by the tribe, by the community. And it can go so deep as a feeling that you will be cast out of society and you will be on your own. We have a reptilian brain that is very reptilian, mammalian, whatever, and it's all about survival. And because we're humans and we get provided, our needs get provided for in those early first years of life, our instincts are that we need other people for our life. It's a form of dependency that obviously is outgrown in our adult life, but it's so deep within us that we come here with it. Obviously, we cannot survive without the mother in the womb giving us our nutrients. And when we're here, we can't survive without somebody feeding us and taking care of. So it comes so deep, right down to our survival instincts. We mask over it by saying, yeah, it's fear of judgment, it's shame, it's humiliation, it's criticism, because they're the emotions that we get the triggers with. But when we go deeper than that, it really does come back to a deep sense of needing to belong, to not being outcast of a group because your life depends on it. Well, as adults, your life does not depend on that anymore. But if you think about it, what the hell is wrong with being criticised? What the hell is wrong with you being judged? What is wrong with you being humiliated? You know, really, these are not life-threatening problems. These are problems that you've dealt with the whole of your life. And you're not responsible for what other people think about you. You will get criticised even if you're doing the best job you can. You will get put down and judged even though you're trying your hardest. That's the type of world we live in. You cannot people please everyone because they will judge you based on their own fears and insecurities, not yours. Your job is to be true to you. My job is to be true to me. And I've battled with this for a long time, and I speak to you with complete integrity and authenticity because I am now speaking my truth, and it's taken me a long time to get comfortable with it. You know, through all those things that I said, like fear. Morning, Lorna. Hope you're all right, girls. Nice to see you on bright and early. So, yeah, I'm just talking about the ego and how it gets in the way, and how that I work with so many people who want to be of service, but hold back their light, if you like. through fear of judgment, criticism, shame and humiliation. I'm just saying it runs so deep, it's tribal, and I totally get that. So what I'm going to talk to you about is a couple of things about why we are all wanting to walk a path of service. Not we are all, but the people who obviously are on my page or come on my courses and things like that. Yeah, it is important, Lorna, and people struggle with it because of the put downs that they've had. So I'm going to give you, and you can use this, I'm going to give you something that I came up with this morning while I was at the gym. And it's a little take on Byron Katie, the work. So if you don't know Byron Katie, have a look at her. She's great. She does something called the work and the turnaround and judge your neighbour. It's a bit hard to get your head around. So I've taken little bits of her concept, if you like, and I've created something that maybe you can use for yourself and with other people. So just to talk about astrology, because that affects us. So we've now moved out of the Scorpio moon, and we're now moved into Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is about fun, adventure, freedom, spirituality. The go-getter. It's about travel. His god is Jupiter. His ruler is Jupiter, which is the spiritual guru, spiritual teacher. It brings us many blessings. It's about expansion. So based on the I Ching, which is the Chinese gate, and it relates to astrology, we've now moved into something, gate of power, gate 34, power of the great. Power is only great when its display or use serves the common good. And it's in a sixth line, so the good sense, when having bitten off more than one can chew, to spit part of it out, the restriction of the release of power when one does not have the strength to maintain it. So what's interesting about this is the moon now is opposite Sun and Mercury in Taurus, and it's causing an opposition which is tension, and it's also got what we call a yod pointing to, which is a finger of God. It's like a triangle in the astrology chart, and it's pointing directly to the moon. So what this is saying is there's going to be things being said, thoughts that our ego thoughts, maybe conflicting our deeper drivers, our deeper emotions. It could be that there's people out and about that say things that trigger your deep emotions, but this is asking us to tune into our deeper sense of knowing, so possibly that we don't get triggered. So just referring it back to this gate, the gate of power, knowing when enough is enough might be indicating that when you choose your battles wisely. Try not to react to what people are saying and portraying, and tune into your deeper sense, so you don't try and use your power and give your power away in the wrong way. We also have Pluto and Saturn, where they've been together for quite some time, and it's helping us regenerate, rebirth areas of our life that are not serving us, that aren't in our highest truth. It's been happening for a while now. So think about your life where things have maybe fallen down, things that you've clung on to have slipped away from you, relationships maybe have gone, finances have changed. I know in my life, like my whole life has changed, and this is where I find myself now. If by 2020, July the 12th, when Pluto, god of the underworld, ruler of Scorpio, this is about power and transformation, meets with Saturn, God Cronus, time, law, structure. When they meet up in 2020, January the 12th, it's going to be a time where you need to know your own strength. You need to be in your own power and in your own light. You need to have found your place of authenticity and integrity when this happens, because if you don't, it's going to be one painful ride for you. It's already painful because it's urging you to get clear, get authentic in whatever area of life it's in for you. This conjunction, by the way, is happening right on my sun, and my sun is my ego and how I show up in the world, what I identify with. So this has really been pushing me in this direction, and I've had to get over my ego about doing this kind of stuff. When I go to speak or do a Facebook Live, I feel my head just start to go, whoa, and I literally have to center myself, meditate for a couple of minutes, and allow spirit or channel to come in through me, through my energy center of the crown. Because if I think about what I'm going to say too much, I just cannot come on here. And when I run groups, I'm absolutely terrified. I get a big flush that happens in my body. I never know what I'm going to say, and I never prepare for what I'm going to say, because if I come from a mental place, you can just forget it. I have to come from a spiritual place, and that is about surrendering and letting go, trusting that whatever group you've got in front of you, you're going to deliver what they need to hear. So, yeah, you're travelling this week. Perfect. Amazing. Enjoy. Okay, so the reason for the light workers, the thing that I want to say about the light workers, we have chosen to be here to do this work on ourselves for a reason. The reason is you are changing your DNA for your future generations to come. It's proven that your DNA is influenced by your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and you only have a thought, a feeling, or an emotion based on an interpretation you make. You see something, you perceive it a certain way, you sense it in your body, the thoughts flood in and the feelings flood in. So it's how you interpret your world that affects what goes on in your DNA. We are clearing up the shit of our ancestors, okay? We have chosen to be the ones to step forward and go, no more. This trauma, this suffering, this pain, this abuse, this neglect, this negativity, this trauma pattern is stopping now with me. That means I have to go into the pain, not pass that pain on to someone else. I am going to own the pain for all my ancestors who have not cleaned up their shit, who've not had the ability to even know that they can clean up their shit, who've just passed it on from generation to generation. The light workers are stepping up and they are clearing up their DNA so it's not carried on for generations. Scientifically proven that in our DNA we have memories of our ancestors. It gets carried forward. A trauma can get carried forward 14 times in your DNA. So you've got like 60,000 ancestral stuff in our DNA which can get triggered at any time. You know, they've done a lot of research on ancestors of the Holocaust. So this is proven scientifically that this is what gets carried forward in our DNA. So the reason, hi love, Rachel, the reason why we are choosing to do this work is for that reason. It's to clear up your DNA. It's to stop it going forward. So when we go into our shame and pain of not being able to be visible, not being able to stand our truth, we are still going into the trauma. We are still hiding our light. We're still living out the pain of the ancestors, or we're getting triggered into a memory, an emotion that we've had in this lifetime, and we're hiding, we're holding back of ourselves, and we are not fulfilling our purpose. So if people say, I'm here to be of service, I feel like there's a mission, I'm here for a reason, If you feel like that way, then yes, you are here for that purpose, but it's your responsibility to stand up and own it, because no one else is going to do it for you. You have to do it, and you have to do it now. You have to do it now. Before maybe I don't know what's going to happen with the Pluto and the Saturn conjunction, but astrologers say it's going to be pretty heavy duty. So people are going to need people like us to turn to, who understand stuff and can help them rebuild themselves. So if you're holding back your truth, then that's where your pain is, and that's the spiritual work that you need to do on yourself. Let's see what else I can tell you. All right, so I just wanted to give you a little technique, really, that you might be able to use. So I want you to bring to mind the thing that you say to yourself when you know you've got this mission inside you, you know you've got an authentic truth, you know it's not what your family believe in or your partner or your colleagues believe in, but you believe it. It's part of you. It's in your DNA. It's what you came here to awaken your soul with. They all say, oh, we come here, we forget, and it's our job to remember who we are. All right, not everybody wants to go on that path, that's fine. But if you are on that path, this is the reason why you're here, to reawaken to your soul. So your soul is telling you every day whether you're in alignment or not. And if you're not, you know why you're not. You know what your authentic truth is. And you may have a reason for holding it back, but that's not why you're here. So if you're like me and you've gone to umpteenth tarot reader, astrologer, okay, what's my purpose? I feel this thing inside me, but I don't know what it is. Some of it is about timing. You have to be patient, because not all the information can come to you. If I knew what I was going to be doing 5 or 6, but probably about 8 years ago, there's no way I would have believed it. So I wouldn't have followed that path. I would have done something else to avoid it. So everything is given to you at the right time when you're capable of receiving it. But when you do receive it, you then have a responsibility to yourself, if you want to live an aligned life, an authentic life, to find the courage to step forward step by step by step. So for some people, I'm not saying, okay, go shout it from the rooftops, go into work tomorrow, hand your notice in and become a healer, because it's actually really hard to do it. You have to do it in stages, because those stages you're developing yourself and you're gaining your own power and strength. Another thing I wanted to say about that is, a lot of people say to me, and I know how this feels because myself, I've done it. Oh, but there's so many people out there doing it now. Oh, look at them, they're doing great. Oh, she's doing this and da-da-da-da. And it makes you shrink back. It's like competition. It's like competition at the workplace. If you see it that way, you are not understanding it. And it's only just been revealed to me how we can transmute this. When you see other light workers doing it and smashing it, I want you to be fucking grateful that they are doing and smashing it, because, well, number one are you, and that's the reason why it'll put you into jealousy and fear. They are smashing it, and they are changing the future for our grandchildren and their grandchildren. So that's why we're here. We're to hopefully change. We are starting to hopefully change the face of humanity at a point where, physically we might not be here anymore, but our ancestors, our siblings will be, our lineage will be living the life here. People who are smashing it with speaking their truth, coming out and doing their thing and helping people change, transform and wake up to their own life. They are waking people up. So they are then changing their DNA for their lineage. So when you see somebody, thank you, Rachel, when you see somebody that might trigger you and make you shrink, that is your human self, your 3D self, the ego self. You might as well be at fucking work in the office if you're going to react that way, because you're not getting the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that light workers are here to wake people up. So they change their DNA, so that gets projected into the world and into our lineage to come. That's the bigger picture. So if someone else is doing it and they're killing it and they're making a good job of it, then I want you to praise them. I don't want you to go into comparison syndrome. I'm never going to be like that. We have all got a unique blueprint. So whoever you are comparing yourself to, let them be them and you be you, because we all have a uniqueness. Not one of us is the same. We've all got different thumbprints. We've all got different irises. We are all different. We come here with a different blueprint. So let them be them and let them make the most of it, and let you be you, because you're here to serve a group and they're here to serve a group. You can't serve everyone. I can't serve everyone. And they can't serve everyone. But collectively, if you all come together, if you are still in that vibration of jealousy and fear, you're still feeding in to the polarity, the negativity that we're trying to raise our vibration from. So ask yourself, when you're comparing yourselves and it makes you shrink and go, oh, there's no point me even trying. What frequency are you at? Have a look at the frequency scale, the alpha and the omega frequency scale. What are you transmitting, and where are you feeding into? Are you feeding into the light or the dark with that belief system? So I think that's all I wanted to say, but I'm going to give you a little technique, right? So bring to mind the thing that's holding you back, the problem, as I like to call it. Probably a belief statement or a mental image that you get. So the thing that stops you from speaking your truth or walking your authentic path, just bring to mind what it is, a statement, a mental picture. Now ask yourself, when I think of that, am I doing my pain? The answer is probably yes. And when I think of it that way, what memory am I tapping into? Just see what comes to mind. When I think of it that way, when I think if I speak my truth, I will get laughed at and humiliated, am I doing my pain? Does it feel painful? When I think of it that way, what memory or belief statement am I tapping into? And just think about what it's costing you to hold on to this. Think about the belief statement that's tied in with this about, because you're just seeing it one way. The belief statement is, I'll be humiliated, etc., etc. Now ask yourself, is that true? Is that 100% true? By asking yourself, are there any other possibilities to this? Then ask yourself, what truth has been invisible to me until now? When you ask yourself the question, is it 100% true? You might get 80% yes, or 20% of it feels, well, no, it might not be 100% true that everyone is going to laugh at me. So what are the other possibilities? And when you open up your thinking to the other possibilities, find your truth, the one that feels comfortable. So what has been invisible to me until now? So there are two ways to think about this. One is the way that you're currently thinking about it. That causes you pain, frustration, suffering. And the other way to think about it is from an open place of freedom. It's just freedom. It's free when you give yourself permission to be you. Like, you could all watch me and think, wow, what a tit, like, that's okay. Because it's your time you're wasting, not mine. So you have to be comfortable with people switching off from you. You know, lose it, lose the ego about it. Know that the people will find you. Know that the people will find you. My friends watch me. They probably don't watch me on Facebook because they would just laugh at me. They laugh at me when they see me. If they've seen a video that I've done, that's okay. But it's funny when you see their minds start to switch and they start to talk about these things themselves, that they become more interested. It's just the level of consciousness that people are at. Don't take it personally. So which one do you choose? Do you choose to continue to believe the thought, to feed the thought that you up until now have thought is only 100% true, that causes you pain and suffering? Are you ready to continue that way? If you are, no problem. But if the other way that you want to tap into, the other way is freedom, giving yourself the chance to be you and to see how that feels. So here's a technique again. List all the possible worst outcomes that you have convinced yourself of so far. If I speak my truth, if I tell people I'm into healing, if I tell people I like this, list all those positive, those negative but outcomes that you've conjured up in your mind. List all the worst possible outcomes. And then list all their opposites. List all the opposite of that. So the positive outcomes. And feel into what one feels right for you. Your body doesn't lie. If it feels right, it feels right. You know what? If it feels right to stay on the fence for a bit longer, then stay on the fence for a bit longer. But do it through choice. Do it by giving yourself permission to stay on the fence for a little bit longer. Because what I'm asking you to do is take away the frustration and the pain that you feel by not speaking your truth. Hiya Jenny, if you want to stay on the fence with this stuff and you're not ready to come out and talk about it yet, then just grant yourself more time. Because it's people that I see over and over again that are living a life of frustration, and it causes misalignment. It causes your energy to be scattered, and a whole heap of mental frustration goes on in your life that does not serve you one bit. So give yourself permission to take more time to feel your way in, and just know that when the time comes, you'll know wholeheartedly that it's the right time for you to do it. If you feel it's the right time, but yet you're still holding back through the fear and the humiliation, then try this technique that I've just given you and see if it works for you. And once again, you know, if you've got any questions or you want to come on a workshop, then just message me or go to the soulawakeningacademy.co.uk. Take care for now, guys. Bye.